at JM and the AM Wednesday morning broadcast. One of the ways that we keep our hand on the pulse of the employment world in the Jewish community is a conversation we like to have once in a while with David Gantshar and Willie Hochman. David is the president of the Merraine Group. Willie is president of the Joel Paul Group, and Joel Paul is part of Merraine, and therefore David is chairman of the Joel Paul Group. I think I have that all right as we introduce both of our guests. David Gantshar, a pleasure to welcome you back to JM and the AM. Just a moment. I apologize. Give me a second. Always working on the technical problems. David, welcome to JM and the AM.
Hey, great to be back with you again. I prefer to be introduced as Willie's sidekick, but chairman will do.
Yeah, it's interesting because you guys do have official titles, but whenever you appear here, it seems like you're a team that works together and tries to get a lot of good work done together. So I will take you at your word because I think you're being accurate. And Willie Hochman, our good friend, a welcome back to JM and the AM.
Good morning. I can't laugh this early in the morning, so thank you for that introduction. Yes, titles are just titles. It's how we work together, who we are, and what we do for our Jewish nonprofit clients and professionals. So thank you for that introduction.
Well, you're welcome. And it does seem like, we've spoken to you guys enough times where it does seem like the teamwork is very, very effective. Willie, this is an interesting time of year because when we speak to you in July or August, we're always talking about turnover in the Jewish not-for-profit world, a lot of movement. You're getting contact from organizations, schools, and the like, and you're getting contact, of course, from a lot of potential candidates. And there are other times of the year, May and June, I think, would be like that as well. What do we see about the Jewish world and specifically the Jewish not-for-profit world when we're sitting at the end of January and the beginning of February?
So the recap of 2025 is what we're, here to kind of give you and your audience. It was I think, a good year for the Jewish nonprofit world. There's always opportunities. There's more opportunities. Placements were made. Careers were advanced. Hopefully our clients are happy with the professionals they've hired. Year-end 2025, organizations kind of either use up their budget that they have for hiring. They've already budgeted for 2026, and that's where we're sitting now in January with organizations who are hopefully looking to add to staff. They don't know yet about staff transitions, if professionals will be moving on their choice or other reasons to move on. And budgets are in place for 2026, and hopefully the hiring continues throughout 2026.
Well, David, let me get your impression of 2025 then. As you look back at the last 12 months, look back at last year, you know what good years look like. You know what difficult years look like for both candidates and organizations that are looking to hire. How would you evaluate the year 2025?
I think, first of all, Reb Nachum, I would say that you were talking about titles, and Willie, of course, is the serious one of the two of us. I'm more of the, the lightweight in the group. And so I like to call myself, as I mentioned, his sidekick, but really I'm his drinking buddy. He makes a very good kiddush, a very good l'chaim. Just for the record, I want you to know we're friends, not just coworkers. So that I need to set the record straight on that one. But all kidding aside, look, it was a very busy year for us. The truth is that there are more nonprofit organizations on the scene today than we've ever seen. I don't know if that is perhaps an outcome of 10-7, that more people feel the calling and are coming into the field. And we've talked with you previously about people moving from the private sector to the public sector. But I think what's been an outgrowth is that now we're seeing even more organizations than we've ever seen before. And the need for talent is even greater. So our business is the best it's ever been. We have had to hire additional staff, and we are really at a point now where, quite frankly, candidates have the luxury of picking which assignment they want, because there is a tremendous need for talent.
Wow, very interesting. And how are they getting the skills to go ahead and fulfill those talent needs? Because it always seems to me that as time goes by, more and more young people are discovering the value of certain degrees and courses and online material they could study, etc. I mean, is that the trend? Are they coming in better skilled and better prepared for these jobs than in the past?
Willie may have. Go ahead. I might have a slightly different take from you, being the fact that I'm so much younger than you. But please go ahead.
Thanks a lot. There you go. So when you ask the question, Nachum, I think most of our clients, of course, they'd like, whether the professional is, mid-level or senior, they want that, college education. In certain positions, be they finance and others, they want a master's or other degrees. But most of our clients that we're seeing in the Jewish nonprofit, it's really about work experience, skills, and as David started to mention, transferable skills.
Right.
There are professionals out there from the corporate world who have skills and experience that is transferable. And we're seeing a growing trend of that coming from the corporate sector to the Jewish nonprofit sector, be they in accounting, marketing, even development. A salesperson, a good salesperson or manager can make the transition from sales in the corporate world to fundraising. And I'll caveat that by saying what helps is if they have fundraising experience as a lay leader in their community, synagogue, school, they understand the difference between sales, where you're selling something, versus fundraising, where you're selling the organization's mission and accomplishments.
David, you wanted to add something?
No, I really think that's right on the money. But I think it's so much today about passion, and I know you've heard that term before in the corporate world, the nonprofit world. But my kids have tried to convince me that a college degree is not what it was years ago, and I'm not sure I agree with them. It's okay; there can be a difference of opinion in the family, right? But I think that. So of course experience matters, but what I see, and I think Willie, I'm sure you would echo this, is that those that are most passionate about the Jewish nonprofit world, those individuals that have been sitting on the sidelines and have not been participating over the last, let's say, 10 years, 15 years, now again, as in previous times in our history, feel a calling. And it's brought out a level of passion that we haven't seen before. And I really believe that it is changing the workforce within the Jewish nonprofit sector because of that calling, because of that passion.
Interesting. David Gantshar and Willie Hochman are with us live via telephone. We're talking about employment in the Jewish world. They would know with their experience at the Merraine Group and, of course, the Joel Paul Group. If you'd like to get your resume or be in touch with Willie in order to find out how you could advance your standing as a potential candidate, especially in the world of Jewish not-for-profit, but in general, when it comes to employment, William at joelpaul.com. That's William at joelpaul.com. You'll find Willie on LinkedIn and, of course, all the social media platforms. The Merraine Group has a website that's dedicated to the Jewish not-for-profit sector, Merraine, Merraine, again, MERRAIN.com/Jewish-non-profit. Willie, tell me about people who are moving from the private sector into the not-for-profit sector. I mean, I know you alluded to it before. Is this trend only getting bigger and bigger? I did notice, actually encounter somebody the other day who was very successful in the private sector and then became the executive director of a synagogue. And by the way, there are some large synagogues in this country that actually need full-time executive directors to keep track of everything. I'm wondering if you've gotten that feeling over the last few months.
Most certainly, Nachum, and even from the recap from the last time we spoke, maybe in 2025, that trend is increasing, and I don't think it's burnout or anything like that. It really is like what David alluded to. It's a calling. People are starting to see the wonder and the excitement and the camaraderie. It's not just a job. And people who know me know I came from the corporate world decades ago.
Right.
It was a job. It was a nice job. I did well, etc. But all of my clients, when they interview candidates, they seem to be asking that question, especially if you're coming from the private sector. Why do you want to make the switch? They want to know also. They want to hear that sincere. It's not made up. They want to hear that sincere passion from the person. And Nachum, people think that it's just in fundraising, because if you're fundraising, you have to love the mission, love the cause. Everybody, my clients tell us, everybody who works for us in the Jewish nonprofit world, in an organization, school, or synagogue, has to have that passion. You never know where they are. They're at an event. They're at a synagogue. They're in wherever they are vacationing. And they're talking about, if something comes up, they're talking about their organization. Their passion comes through. Because whether you're in accounting, finance, marketing, of course, fundraising, that's what our clients want to see, and that's the kind of people they're hiring in many, many cases.
Yeah, and when they're on vacation, they're also advancing the cause, and they're troubleshooting all the time, to say the least, on that phone, making sure they're getting things done that need to be done, and putting out all the fires that need to be put out. Also, Willie, what year did you join the Joel Paul Group?
So my history, very briefly, is I bought the Joel Paul Group in 2009.
So back then, in 2009, I would guess there were some people in the New York, New Jersey area who were moving to out-of-town positions. How has that trend developed? Because now in 2025, over 15 years later, it would seem that there's so many Jewish communities and so many areas of this country that are now bustling with a large Jewish presence. I would have to imagine that so many of your candidates actually willing to go and test out those communities.
Nachum, now I want your listeners to know we didn't rehearse. We didn't talk about this topic beforehand, and it's a very, very moving ahead and growing topic as well. And probably we have to thank the federal government, the state governments, and the organizations that wave the flag for tuition subsidies, vouchers as they're called, in various states around the country.
No state income taxes.
Your listeners know the cost of Jewish state school tuitions, whether it is in your, modern Orthodox, your yeshivish, or your, community day schools, Jewish community schools. Tuition is expensive, and it weighs on various families. If they have the opportunity, and maybe family support even, to consider moving from, whether it's New York, New Jersey, and other states, to the states that have vouchers. And I live in one now for a couple of years in Florida, and there's Ohio, and that is a trend that is definitely on the forefront of families, where they can afford a little bit more, to live. Sometimes the cost of living is lower in certain states, most times not, but it's an opportunity for them to move and consider, especially also, as we know, a lot of work now is done remotely. So the whole combination, it's a perfect storm of the vouchers, of the growing Jewish communities, organizations that have done things to grow the various Jewish communities and support these Jewish communities, member organizations, as well as the opportunity to move, because the spouse or spouses can either find a job in an office environment or work remotely to continue what they were doing.
And finally, David, how has the AI space grown in this space? I mean, if there are people in the Jewish not-for-profit world, or really any world when it comes to employment, when it comes to a job or a title or a position these days, I would guess you would warn that you better be up on the latest when it comes to AI. It could only enhance your whole employment experience.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you're raising a sensitive topic because I'm sure we are all aware that earlier, in the last 24 hours, Amazon has announced 16,000 layoffs. I think I have the number right. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 16,000 layoffs as a result of AI and expectations around AI. And so we have, I always know when there's a big announcement coming because the resumes start coming in about, 4 hours, 5 hours before the announcement, even if it's the middle of the night. But I would say to you, we're not concerned. I don't think we're going to see, who was it the other day? Elon Musk said, in 15 years, work will be optional. I don't agree with that statement, although he's a lot brighter than I am. I don't think that AI is going to replace all of these individuals, but what it will do is it will transition. And that's the key word, because so many people right now, and those young people coming out of school, and even people my age and obviously a lot younger than I am, are transitioning along with AI into different parts of their career or different parts of the professional world that they never thought they'd enter as a result. So it's not so much replacement as much as it is transition, but the impact that it is going to continue to have over the next 5, 10, even 20 years is just massive.
All right, Willie, the best way for a potential candidate who thinks that you'd be interested in their resume, the best way for them to get that to you, and the best way for organizations, synagogues, groups around the country, not-for-profits to be in touch with this entire effort. What do you recommend?
So thank you. So I always tell people who ask me, what's more important, to get the client or the candidate? And it's not like 80-20 rule. It's 51%, 50, 49%. Why? We need the clients to help our candidates. So for clients who want to inquire of how we do our business and how we can help them and grow, my email address, as you said, is william@joelpaul.com, and you can find my phone number on there as well. And candidates, what I also recommend before you send resumes to us, take a look at our job board. It's very easy to find it, as Nachum mentioned, on the Merraine.com, and you can drop down an industry. One last plug for the Merraine Group, the Merraine.com website. Merraine also services several industries: healthcare, regulatory, engineering, dermatology, to mention a few. So you'll see on the website job board, even if your listeners are not in the nonprofit world and they're looking for their next job in a field that we cover, the drop-down box under industry can help them look for jobs that we have. If there's not a job right now that you're interested in, you want to get your resume to us, again, my email, william@joelpaul.com, or on the job board, on the website, there's a way to send your resume in as well.
Oh, and I'm glad you mentioned those other industries, because there's a lot of people in our community nationwide that would be interested in that list of industries that you just gave us. William@joelpaul.com. Get your resumes in if you're interested in entering the world of Jewish not-for-profit. Go to the Merraine website, MERRAINE.com. They have, as Willie just noted, not only the Jewish not-for-profit sector on there, but they've got they've got a whole bunch of different industries that they take care of, in addition to what the Joel Paul Group does. So it's very possible you will find an offering there that will strike you as something you want to pursue. Again, William@joelpaul.com. Gentlemen, I thank you. I hope this leads to a lot of employment, a lot of clients, because there are a lot of organizations that really could use the professional help, and I know that you're going to help them find the people they need. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Nachum. All the best to you and the listeners. 2026.
Appreciate that. Yeah, good year ahead for everybody, and let's hope that those who need work will in fact get the work and that they'll succeed at it. More coming up at America's one and only Jewish Moments in the Morning radio program, heard on listeners-sponsored digital radio. Around the world, the web at NachumSegal.com, on the Nachum Segal Network, and of course in the beloved NSN app.